Alright, gamers, welcome back. World of Warcraft Classic Hardcore Ironman Adventures, episode 202, episode 52 on our Dwarven Paladin here. Let's jump in, shall we? It's a nice rainy Sunday afternoon. Don't really have much going on except for time to work on some videos. So, last we left off, we were back in Darkshire. We still need to get these rot blossoms, and we're pretty much done with Darkshire / Duskwood for the most part. There are a few extra bits that we have to do as far as like, these long chain quests, learn what happened with Sven, take on Morladim, the Legend of Stalvin, right? So speaking of the Legend of Stalvin, before we start, let's run to Eastvale Logging Camp and talk to Marshal Haggard. We're back up to 17.5 gold, which is really nice. We do have quite a bit of money. What's the training going to cost us at 34? Call it a gold and a half, so 3 gold, 6 gold. It's not bad. And then at 36, it'll be called a gold and a half as well. So from now till 36, it'll be about 10 gold for every spell that I want. So already we have enough gold for our training for the next 4 levels. Definitely want Blessing of Wisdom rank 3, Divine Shield, this is our best bubble. Flash of Light, another rank in that is great. Seal of Righteousness. I've kind of stopped using it, but when I do switch back to Sword and Shield, it could be pretty valuable. Plus, I just kind of want to get it. So yeah, we'll definitely get that as well. And then Exorcism, of course. I love Exorcism. Whenever we get the chance to fight undead or demons, it's just such a nice spell. 30-yard range, tons of damage. It's only got a 15-second cooldown. Let's give her a buff. Thank you. 26. Whew. Another fire resist aura. I think this is my final aura that we get, which is nice. And then, of course, Retribution aura. Instead of taking 8 damage, mobs take 12, which doesn't sound like much, but it really adds up, like, really quickly. Because you figure, let's say I'm using a 2-hander, right? He doesn't need it, but I'm going to buff him and his pets. Let's say I'm using a 2-hander. Seal of Command, right? We get the damage from our auto attack. We get the damage from Seal of Command. We get the damage from Ret aura. And if I have anything like Thorns or whatever like that, that could also, deal some damage to the enemy. So it adds up really quickly, especially if there's multiple mobs hitting us, or if they are like a fury-based kind of warrior mob where they attack with 2 weapons, or if they have a very fast swing timer, right? Like, so many things can really add up to making points in Red Aura just like really, really good. All right, there's the logging camp. It's kind of crazy to think 8 levels and we'll have our mount. I feel like we kind of just started this character, but Marshal Haggard. What have you got there? I cannot see. My eyesight is very bad. Put it in my hands.
I can barely make out those letters, but that writing style reminds me of something I once saw before my vision became so poor.
Tell me more.
There was a bundle of parchments in the chest upstairs when I moved into this place. I looked at them once when I first arrived, but I gave up once the fog hazed over my peepers. Do an old, nearly blind man a favor and check the chest upstairs for anything that might help you in your quest to discover more about this Stalvin character. I'm pretty sure there's a faded journal page that might be of interest to you. Bring it to me, and I'll help in any way I can.
Right. He's got a nice little home. 2 beds, right next to the fire. It's cozy. A couple chairs for some guests. Any books in his house? Lethargy of the Orcs. We've read this one on my on my Horde character, but okay, it's only 8 pages. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and read this now. But I know we haven't read it on this character, yeah. And I don't know when the next time we'll come back here will be, so. Months passed, and more Orc prisoners were rounded up and placed within the internment camps. As the camps began to overflow, the Alliance was forced to construct new camps in the plains south of the Alterac Mountains to properly maintain and supply the growing numbers of camps. King Tyrannus levied a new tax on the Alliance nations. This tax, along with increased political tension over border disputes, created widespread unrest. It seemed that the fragile pact that had forged the human nations together in their darkest hour would break at any given moment. Over taxes, as we all know. Amidst the political turmoil, many of the camp wardens began to notice an unsettling change come over their Orc captives. The Orcs' efforts to escape from the camps or even fight amongst themselves had greatly decreased in frequency over time. The Orcs were becoming increasingly aloof and lethargic. Though it was difficult to believe the Orcs, once held as the most aggressive race ever seen on Azeroth, had completely lost their will to fight, the strange lethargy confounded the Alliance leaders and continued to take its toll on the rapidly weakening Orcs. Some speculated that some strange disease, contractable only by Orcs, brought by the baffling lethargy. But Archmage Antonidas of Dalaran posed a different hypothesis. Researching what little he could find of Orcish history, Antonidas learned that the Orcs had been under the crippling influence of demonic power for generations. He speculated that the Orcs had been corrupted by these powers even before their first invasion of Azeroth. Clearly, demons had spiked the Orcs' blood, and in turn, the brutes had been granted unnaturally heightened strength, endurance, and aggression. Antonidas theorized that the Orcs' communal lethargy was not actually a disease, but a consequence of racial withdrawal from the volatile warlock magics that had made them fearsome, bloodlusted warriors. Though the symptoms were clear, Antonidas was unable to find a cure for the Orcs' present condition. Then, too, many of his fellow mages, as well as a few notable Alliance leaders, argued that finding a cure for the Orcs would be an imprudent venture. Left to ponder the Orcs' mysterious condition, Antonidas' conclusion, was that the Orcs' cure would have to be a spiritual one. So basically, they were going to have to get clean. They're going to have to find God, which they kind of do with shamanic magics. All right, Marshall Haggard's chest. What do we get out of this bad boy? Another scroll? Can we read this? Yes. Oh, shit. The Curse of Stalvin again. Stop! Stop hitting me with this fucking thing, man. Exercise, be gone. Let the legend of Stalvin rest. Alright, what does this one say? Most strange... Wait. Okay, I don't remember the other page of it, but... Most strange and uncontrollable feeling. Never have I felt the way I did today. Whilst assisting Giles with his history lesson, Tiloa was outside tending to the flower garden. After a few minutes, she came inside and placed a scarlet begonia in my open palm, and smiled at me in such a way that my heart felt as though it was trembling within my chest. He fell in love with her.
Need help?
Did you find that page I mentioned, Bale?
You found it!
I mean, yeah, it's just upstairs, bro.
I know of someone who might be able to assist you. Back when I was leading the Stormwind Guard, we used to get drinks at the Scarlet Raven Tavern in Darkshire. The innkeeper there, Smits, was
No, we
quite
know
an expert on the
Smits.
local lore. Show him this page and see what he has to say about it.
Right. Yeah, we know Smits. We go back, Smits and I. Alright, back to Duskwood. And then we're going to go look for the rest of these rot blossoms. Where did we say we're going after this? I think we actually go back to Ashtanar and finish up these quests here. Could be wrong about that though. I think it might be Ashtanar to the Shimmering Flats. That takes us out to the Shimmering Flats. That's copper. That can stay. Desolace. This is that quest chain in Loch Madon. That's like a higher level. It's an elite quest at level 40. South Shore, which is close to 40. Or about this later. It's crazy to think that the Swamp of Sorrow is almost in range. I think, yeah, I think how it's going to go is... I think we go back to Astronar after this, knock out Astronar, go to the Shimmering Flats, do as much of the Shimmering Flats as I can. And then after that, I think we juggle between Desolace and the northern region of Stranglethorn. And then after that, we'll start working on South Shore. Jumper cables, held in the offhand, held in the offhand. Orb of Power, Strength of Will. This is quite a long quest chain though, so this should get me like all the way up to 33, 34, possibly 34 is what I'm thinking. And then by the time that we do all of the Shimmering Flats, finish up the last bit of Astronar / Ashenvale, because we have 1 here, 2 here, which one of them is very long, and then 2 here, as well as finishing this quest, and this quest. We've got a lot of experience still on the map. There's what? 5 there, 6, 7, plus this guy, plus this journal quest, which leads into, well, this might be on the outside. It leads into a dungeon quest, so we'll try and do the first bit of it, but dungeon, whoops, dungeon and dungeon, go ahead and hide those. For the Barrens being a horde zone, we do have a lot of it explored, which is nice. Need to go back and look on my rogue and see what were all the zones that we have explored. Just for like a novelty / completionist's sake. I think we'll do that real quick after I talk to Smits. I'll pop in. Oh, here comes Stitches. Let's let everyone know. Stitches right outside of Dark Shore. Be careful, friends. Shire, whoops. Smits, my man.
Can I help you? See you later.
Marshal Haggard sent you. Why didn't you say so? Ah, good old Haggard. Poor chap is going to be completely blind before long. Anyway, let me see what you got there.
By the light! You bet I recognize that handwriting. I followed the legend of that Stalvin character for years. When those visiting nobles were slaughtered a few years back, I went with Haggard to investigate. I found these muddy pages, but we were never able to link the handwriting to that crazy man in the woods. Your trail of evidence proves his guilt. Take this to Commander Ebenlock immediately and fill her in on what you've discovered.
I followed the legend of this Stalvin character for years. When those visiting nobles were slaughtered a few years back, I went with Haggard to investigate. I found these muddy pages, but we're never able to link the handwriting to that crazy man in the woods. Your trail of evidence proves his guilt. So, Stalvin killed people? Is that what I'm getting at?
I supply only the finest goods. See you around.
Most certain that she shares the same feelings for me now. She even placed her hand on mine this morning. When she smiles, her eyes light up like glittering diamonds. Unspoken words pass between us. I can feel her in my pounding heart and heated veins. Anger and fury, the likes of which I never knew existed. How dare she? As I was instructing Giles in the meaning of numbers, Teloa appears before me with a suitor, holding hands in public nonetheless. Sorry. What an uncouth young man. Rather than introducing me properly, Tuloa simply said, "Oh, that's just my tutor, Uncle Stalvin. He's a nice old man." Old? At that word my cheeks flustered with heat. I am but a few years older, and yet she betrays. Oh, so he was in love and he got jealous, and the beast has been slain. So yeah, he was in love. This was a younger girl. She found someone else. Classic story. Classic incel story. No, I'm just kidding.
Hello.
The Legend of Stalvin.
Farewell.
This better be good, Paladin. Let me see what you have and tell me your tale. But by the light, be quick about it. Darkshire's defenses is my #1 priority. I've not the time to squander on dead-end leads.
My, you have proved yourself to be quite a detective adventurer. I have had my eye on that creep Stalvin for quite some time, but if this page was written by the same hand, it proves his guilt beyond a shadow of a doubt. In all his days keeping the town registry, Clerk Daltrey has become an expert at identifying handwriting. Show him this page and see if the writing matches that of the registry signature. From
Right.
what my scouts tell
Daltrey. Back again. Is this another page that I can read? Downward spiral of despair. Sorry, not desire. Downward spiral of despair. First she mocks me and now she's engaged. The ungracious charlatan was pretending to love when truly she desired to hurt me all along. A black void lurks within me now, and it grows with each waking moment. The blood I shall spill pales in comparison to the tears I have shed. This dude's an incel. Bro, get over it. She doesn't want you. It's not the end of the world. Live your life, King.
How are you?
Back again, Bill? What do you have this time?
Why, yes, the writing on this page does in fact match that of the registry signatures.
Uh-oh.
Let Commander Ebenlock know immediately that the handwriting matched Adventurer. Her suspicions were correct.
A lot of back and forth on this quest chain.
What can I do for you? Hey there. I knew it. Fine work, adventurer. Stalvin Mistmantle led a life of depravity. Innocent victims died by his hand. Undoubtedly, he is guilty of countless crimes. Now the lunatic threatens Darkshire. The light only knows what sordid acts he is plotting. Travel to his cottage just north of town, adventurer, and execute Stalvin, once and for all. When the deed is done, travel to Madame Eva's and show her his family ring. After all, it was her premonition that led to this gruesome discovery. But Darkshire is safer because of her.
So we can get the Crescent of Forlorn Spirits. A cool little axe that isn't as good as our mace. It's very fast, though, which is kind of cool. 6 spirit, eh. Or we can get the Ring of Forlorn Spirits, which I think this would replace my Meadow Ring of the Monkey. I'd lose 1 stamina, lose 2 agility, but gain 7 spirit, which would increase my mana regen, my health regen. More so than anything, the mana regen is really nice.
From what my scouts tell me,
But again, this is a level 35 quest. I think I'm going to hold off on this because I don't exactly know what's going to happen on this quest. And I am a little worried that like maybe multiple ads will come or something like that. But real quick, let's switch over to our rogue. It's been a while since we've seen him. I want to check how much map completion did I get done on this guy, because I know I made it a rule to where it's like if I traveled to a zone, I wanted to make sure I had it complete. It's crazy that that's not a book. And real quick, let's take a peep at the gear, boys. It's been a while since we played this guy, but man, I love this character. Great helmet. Look at that helmet. That thing is so good. Great necklace. Insane shoulders. This character was juiced to the gills for Soul is So Found. Insane chest piece, boys. Can we talk about how good this chest piece is? I fished this up. That's crazy. Just of agility is insane. 23 agility. Look at my bonus agility here. Baseline 128. My bonus is more than my baseline. 154. Mighty Arm Splints of the Monkey. Like everything we had was so good. Of agility, of the monkey. Insanely good quest gloves. A great belt. Great pair of pants. This was from Stranglethorn quest line. I remember getting these boots from Booty Bay, helping that goblin. Ring of Living Stone. Pretty sure this was a Arathi Highlands quest. Could be wrong about that. Ring of the Underwood. I can't remember what quest chain this was from, but this was from a quest chain, not a dungeon. Pretty good quest chain. Title Charm we got from the rare, of course, and then Blazing Emblem dropped. It was a random drop for us, insanely good. Serpent Slicer, also a random drop for us, insanely good. We used it all the way up to 60. And then the Ebon Scimitar of the Monkey. I think this either dropped for me or I got it from a fishing box. Also just a really good weapon, really fast, good for the offhand. This character was insanely juiced for Solo Self-Found. But okay, let's start from where we started. So yeah, completely explored Tirisfal, completely explored Silver Pine, Eastern Plaguelands, except for a handful of areas. Elites over here. Can't remember why we didn't get this. Maybe Elites here. This is the dungeon, and then I don't know why we didn't explore over here. Western Plaguelands completely explored though. Alterac Mountains completely explored. South Shore completely explored. Arathi Highlands completely explored. The wetlands, I considered it an alliance zone, so I didn't completely explore it, but I could go back and completely explore it. Of course, Dunmoreau we didn't even go into because it's alliance territory. The Badlands, these were all elites, elite drakes over here, so I didn't explore that, but I should and could. Searing Gorge completely explored. Burning Steppes, still have some areas to explore, unfortunately. Red Ridge Alliance Zone didn't touch. Elwyn Alliance Zone didn't touch. Loch Madon, just the bits that we traveled, but I could explore all of it. Darkshire, just the bits that we traveled through, but again, I could explore it. Swamp of Sorrow completely explored. The Blasted Lands still need some work. Westfall Alliance territory, didn't mess with it. Completely explored except for the raid area. Obviously didn't explore it because it's Alliance territory, and I don't even know if the Horde can get over there. I don't think the Horde can get over here. Maybe we can catch a boat, I'm not sure. Alliance territory, didn't mess with it. Completely explored Everlook. Completely explored Fellwood. Completely explored Ajara. Completely explored Ashen Vale, except for the one spot that has the 60 elites. Gratz Black, Door Beef. Completely explored Stone Talon, the Barrens, Mulgore, Desolus. Well, there's one area here that we missed, it seems. Dustwallow Marsh, completely explored. Feralis, completely explored, except for these islands. Thousand Needles, completely explored. Teneris, completely explored. Ungoro Crater, completely explored. Silithus, completely explored. So yeah, I'd say like 80% of the map was complete, not including alliance zones. If I didn't include alliance-specific zones like Elwyn, Teldrassil, Dunmoreau, I'd say we got to about close to 90%. And obviously, like, I could just run around on my mountain, complete a lot of that exploration, but not too pressed about it. It is kind of cool to see like just how much organically did we get. But maybe in the future, I still have some work to do on that character as far as like maxing out his professions and map exploration. If I wanted to, I could just jump on the mount and go run around and explore, but... Okay. Back on the Paladin. I think actually I'm going to drop the Stolven quest for right now, and I'll take it when I come back from Morladim. They're both from Ebonlock. Now, as we run, I'm just going to pause the video to save some time. I'll resume when we get over to where the rot blossoms are in Ravenhill Cemetery, so I'll see you guys in just a second. Alright gamers, we are just getting to Ravenhill, and look who it is. It's our boy Antonio Pirelli. What's he got? Nothing. I did some research on The Legend of Stalvin 2. I think we can go ahead and just solo that quest. It's a lot of experience, the ring is pretty good, and it's something that I don't have to come back for in the future, so when we go back to town, I will just go ahead and take it and go solo it. He's located like right in here. He's undead, I can exercise him. It's not that big a deal. Now these guys are great to me, officially, so I'm going to pull a few of them. Shouldn't be too bad. Let Red Aura kill this guy. That works too. Once again, I love fighting undead mobs, man. Undead or demon, any mobs that I can exercise, I'm just like, oh, it feels so good. Just letting some mana regen here. I messed that up. Should have Hammer of Justice a little earlier, but... I should be using the gooey spider cakes and then the seasoned wolf kebabs, but I'm messing up. It's not that big a deal though. Put on another sharpening stone as well. And I was gonna put on a weight stone, but I'll just keep using the two-hander. Alright, already halfway there with the Rot Blossoms. I guess let's run around and check if... well, Felstrom and Malathrum are both underground. We've found both those rares already, which is kind of cool, but... Big hits. Big exorcism crit. Whew. Alright, two more. Not bad. Oh my god, that feels so good, man. Whenever you get those procs from Seal of Command, it just feels so good. The dopamine is just, it's too good to not use. I'll have to do some testing and see if it's worth using when I get my one-hander, because in theory, like, the damage is less. Obviously, because Seal of Command does 70% of your normal weapon damage, so it's like the damage is less, but you should be proccing it more than with your two-hander because you're swinging more, right? So it's like, does that outweigh it? Maybe, you know? Or is it just better to... Okay, nice. There's the last Rot Blossom. Is it just better to use Seal of Righteousness? I'm not sure. Superior Buckler of the Bear. There's a nice 20 silver right there. Right, back to Darkshire. I don't want to use my hearth. Self-found. Respect. Give her a little salute. I'm going to see if I can dip my toes in here without getting into too much trouble. I'd like to explore it, but again, I know that this is like a level 60 kind of like world raid boss area. I don't really know if it's wise for me to go in there. We had the, not like a rule, but like the general smarts to just avoid areas like that on my rogue. Which is like where we showed, right, in Ashenvale, there's this little region here. We didn't really mess with it. I think there was one in the Hinterlands, like right around here, full of like 60 elites, 60 plus elites. Like most of them are like 63. And I kind of like just brushed it off of like, well, we're never going to explore that stuff because one of those mobs aggro onto you and it's like you could be dead within seconds. Like 2 hits, 1 hit kind of deal. So I was like, yeah, you know, let's not mess with that. Unless I have my mount, and even then it's like 60% movement speed. Some mobs can run you down. They can net you, stun you, daze you, dismount you. It's not really worth it. But I'll tiptoe over here and see. Maybe we can dip our feet in here and get the exploration real quick. But again, I just don't want to do some dumb shit. And I'll be honest, this feels like dumb shit. I need to hurry up and finish that Light of a Loon quest. You remember on... most people won't, but I remember on my rogue... Alright, nice and easy. Spam tab in case there's anything around. Twilight Grove, cool. Can I see anything? Oh shit. Emerus. This is one of Ysera's kin that had like basically been cursed. Had gone mad. Very cool. I actually had a druid character that I made in Dungeons and Dragons. He was like a half-orc druid, and I named him Emrys. So E-M-R-I-S-S, no E-M-E. Very cool to see how close that name is. And I didn't even, you know, really know about this boss. But sketchy, sketchy, sketchy stuff for hardcore. But yeah, on our Undead Rogue, I remember swimming out to this island just to get the map exploration, and it's full of like level 60 plus elite undead champions, I think is what they were. Oof. And one of them aggroed onto me, and it was so scary because I'm in the water, which means I can't sprint. You know, it's hard to get away when you're in the water. I think I vanished, and that fixed it. I think maybe they saw through my vanish. Things got sketchy, though. I, like, instantly evasioned, popped a health pot, because he was, like, he hit me once or twice, or she hit me once or twice. I think it was a female, I want to say dwarf ghost. But that was one of the few close calls that we had on the rogue that really got my heart racing. We've had a couple on this character already, and hopefully not many more Every time I get into one of those situations, I'm like genuinely shook. Give her a nod. Like when we had that situation in Red Ridge over by the Knolls over here, where I pulled like 10 plus Knolls trying to take down Fangor. That shit had my heart racing. You can watch that clip back, and I was like, oh, I was so scared. One thing that's really cool that I'm starting to see circulate the WoW community space is people discussing the idea of a self-found server, which I think is really, really cool. I've talked to you guys about it before. I said if there was a self-found server, I would play on that server, and that'd probably be the only server I'd play on. I would even consider like getting to max level and like doing raid content and stuff like that on that server. But Classic WoW for me is more of, I play it more for the RPG elements of it and not so much the MMO elements of it, weirdly enough. I like that we're sharing a world with other players and that I can see them, interact with them, talk to them, share stories, or help each other out in ways. But I don't necessarily love like the end game rating of it. I've done it. Classic WoW specifically is pretty toxic, if I'm being honest. There's world buffs, flasks, potions, class buffs. You got to log in and log out very specific times to keep your buffs. If you don't show up with every single thing, people don't take you seriously, which you don't need a lot of that shit to really do the content, honestly. But there's so many people that won't even take you in raids unless you're like fully world buffed with a flask, with, you know, all of your consumables, your potions, your little items that give you +6 DPS or whatever. And it's just really draining. It becomes like this side job to where you can't even do other things. I'm not a big fan of it, but the content itself, the raids itself are really cool. It's just the player etiquette around it I don't like at all, and that kind of pushed me away from it. The last time I really raided was in the relaunch of Wrath of the Lich King. I've told you guys about this, but I rolled a unholy death knight. I played orc, and I raided right before Old War came out is when I stopped. But I had like 98 parses. I was like really, really into it. Full bist out for Naxxramas. I was like the best Death Knight in my guild. We would just, people would just kind of learn about the whole hasting with your gargoyle, and it was just really fun. And it didn't feel as taxing as something like Classic or even, modern versions of WoW. I could probably get into modern versions of WoW, raiding in modern versions of WoW, but the game itself in modern WoW just puts me to sleep, man. I don't know why, but it just does.
Stalvin Mistmantle led a life of depravity.
We've already heard the story,
what my
so.
Scouts tell me.
So yeah, I can't really get into retail. I wish I could, but just me being honest, the game puts me to sleep. Like, I don't know why, it just does. I've tried the last 2 expansions, and I can't even get like 2 levels into them without, like, every time I log on, I'm just like constantly yawning, and I'm like, man, I kind of want to get off. And then the second I get off, I'm wide awake, and I'm like, it's the game. Hey, Bale, do you have those rot blossoms for me yet?
Good, you got the rot blossoms. And I'll tell Althea Ebenlock of the Night Watch that you were killing skeletons. Keeping the people of Darkshire safe is a grim burden for the Night Watch, and news that others are helping stem the tide of fiends in Duskwood is welcome news indeed. Here's your zombie juice. And be careful with this stuff. It's strong enough to raise the dead.
What's Abercrombie going to do with it then? But yeah, I just can't really get into retail, and it's probably, my own fault. And I get that some people enjoy it. It's not really for me. But I think the big issue with it for me is, like, it's just lost touch with its roots, and the power creep with it all is very insane to me. The combat doesn't feel as engaging or meaningful. My button rotation doesn't feel like it really has any meaning. I'm just playing like bop it and pressing whatever button lights up. I'm not a giant fan of the new models or animations. The story has really lost me. In Classic WoW, I'm just some Joe Schmo that, like, is making a name for myself by helping out little towns, learning about like mysteries of like murders that are going on here, or this guy loved this girl and he was her school teacher, she didn't feel the same way. Like that's the dynamic with classic, right? It's like very old school D&D, low stakes, but there's something really cool about that to me. And classic WoW, it's like, or I mean in retail WoW, it's like Sargeras has stabbed the world, and you're like powering up this necklace that has this elven deity in it that's gonna end the world because she's an old god or she's a creature of the old god, and you're I don't know. I can't do it, man. I just want to come to a town and learn what's going on, and hey, there's a dragon and you need to slay it. Cool, right? I like a lower scale fantasy. And again, that's just a me thing. I know some people love retail, and one of my buddies is really into it right now. He loves the housing elements of it. But yeah, I tried to play what's the one before midnight? I can't even remember. I tried to play Dragonfight. I got like 2 hours into it and I just could not do it. Never gave it another chance. I tried to play the one before Dragonflight, and again, I couldn't really get into it. I think it was Battle for Azeroth, I think. My last one that I played pretty seriously was Legion. I actually really enjoyed Legion, but Midnight, like I might be able to get into it, but it's just, I don't know. Anyways, here's Stalvin. Okay, so he is like a kind of like a Fury Warrior. Oh, shit. I reset him. Well, that's fine. I do need to eat. Get a fresh stamina buff. He's like a Fury Warrior, too. He's got a decent bit of health. Look at the range that I can hit him with Exorcism. And immediately he crit me. Being a paladin is not fair, bro. This class is so good. Where you going, champ? I don't know, have a seat. I want to check out his house real quick. So he says to us, "I shall spill your blood, paladin." So yeah, he's definitely guilty. Does the ring have any inscriptions on it? No. I've had this curse on me like 10 times now. And I saw an interesting theory that maybe that ghoul that's chasing us around this entire quest line, maybe that's the girl. Maybe that's the girl that he was in love with, that loved the other man and he murdered. But it's just like, why would she defend him? Why is she like going around saying leave the legend of Stalvin alone? Like, why is she haunting me while I'm trying to figure out what's going on? Did she actually like care for him? Did she feel bad for him? Did he like curse her in death? If that might not even be her. Madam Eva?
You need something?
Yes, Bale?
I know, adventurer. Stalvin is dead. I sensed a wave of hope ripple through the tainted forest. Once and for all, Duskwood is free from his bloodthirst. My joy is hampered by thoughts of those who fell prey to the horrible beast. Nonetheless, you are a brave and cunning adventurer.
Ah, you're too kind.
Light blessing.
4,000 experience for that quest is crazy. Okay. New ring. Who dis? Update to current items. And that is pretty much all of Darkshire. I guess there's a little left with Abercrombie.
You need something?
I like girl that wear Abercrombie and bitch.
See you around.
The Merciless Axe. Wait a second. Hold on now. Oh, boys. I think we might finally have an upgrade. Call it 3 gold. 54 to 81. 20 weapon damage higher than the Gargoyle's Bite. 12 strength, so 2 extra strength. The DPS is higher. The swing speed is slower. I'm picking it up. I think we finally have an upgrade compared to Gargoyle's Bite. And that's sad because I do love Gargoyle's Bite, but it served us well for a very long time. The Merciless Axe. Now, my axe skill is very low. It's at 50 out of 160, so I think what we're going to do is Seal of Crusader and just swing on some wolves and try and level this puppy up real quick. Polearm's at 159, almost 160. Damn. We are also like 1% from leveling up, so when we head back to Abercrombie, this should level us up. 390. Now I need a little more, but the next level of the quest chain is, you know, something that would give us experience. Yeah, we're gonna miss for a little bit here, but that's fine. I actually want to switch to Devotion Aura. First time we're using this in a while. Reason being is I want a higher armor to take less damage from these mobs while I'm just kind of wailing on them and leveling up two-handed axes. And then if I want, I can switch to Concentration Aura anytime I need to heal. I was thinking just sit in Concentration Aura, but that doesn't make sense. I'm only getting value out of it when I'm casting heal. I get permanent value if I'm sitting in Devo Aura. And again, this is going to take a while. We got to catch it all the way up to at least, like, I imagine 130-ish in that range before we start hitting consistently. So, you know, get comfy. Buckle up. But once this thing's actually leveled up, it's going to start hitting like a truck. And of course, we're going to keep Gargoyle's Bite. I'm going to put it in the bank. Not getting rid of that thing. Whoops. I'll tell you what, while I'm leveling this up, I think I'm going to pause the video and just smack on these wolves for a little bit. And to save some time, we'll pause, and I'll resume when we get it to a number that I'm happy with. So I'll see you guys in just a little bit. All right, gamers, we're back. This is close enough. 117, that's not bad. At this point, the level ups are kind of starting to slow down a little bit, so we are consistently hitting too, which is nice. But while we run to Abercrombie, we'll smack on some more wolves. I think 130 will consistently connect. We're already pretty much consistently connecting. Johnny Sins just hit 60. Grats, Johnny Sins. Big fan of your work. Oh. I'm joking. I'm joking. Or am I? Okay. I don't really care about the lean wolf flanks. Tin? Copper. Copper. Who cares about copper at this level? Please. I guess if I get enough wolf flanks, I could care about it. This is more for just leveling up my weapon skill, though. Which is kind of nice to be a dwarf with a big axe on my back now and not this thin polearm. This thing served me very well, but... And I was very, very stoked when we got it. It's such a cool weapon, but... I am glad to be kind of moving on, I think. The Merciless Axe. Looks sick, man. Matches our hair too. Pop a sharpening stone on this bad boy. We don't have that much time left in this session. At most, I'd probably do 20, 30 more minutes, but I do want to see what Abercrombie's going to have us do after this. Ghoulish effigy, ogre thieves, note to the mayor, and then translate Abercrombie's note. So really there's only like 2 quests left in this chain, because the last 2, I'm assuming they're just going to have me travel from point A to point B. They don't really give much experience. One of them is obviously bringing a note to the mayor. I need that zombie juice to keep me warm on these cold nights. Did you get it for me?
1,000 thanks, adventurer. You warm an old man's heart with your with your kindness.
I don't like this guy, man.
Take this as a token of my gratitude. I live so far from the protection of town, it's a wonder the ghouls and the walking dead haven't eaten me. In fact, just yesterday, a pack of bone chewers was pounding on the walls of my house. I want to make an effigy, a kind of scarecrow for ghouls. To do that, I need some ghoul ribs. You can get them from flesh eaters, bone chewers, brain eaters, rotted ones, and plague spreaders. Get the ribs for me and I will repay you with some coin.
Whistling do's, whistling don'ts. Okay. More mobs to grind here in Ravenhill Cemetery. I'm fine with that. Interesting, so they can block or dodge your actual auto attack, but the hit from the Seal of Command can still connect. Yeah, I mean, we're doing a lot more damage. I think I was consistently hitting like 80s with my polearm. Now I'm consistently hitting like 100, and that weapon damage also increases the damage that my Seal of Command is going to do, right? So it's like now Seal of Command is hitting for even more too. Overall, we're just dealing like more damage, and it feels good. There's a rib. Heyo, level 33. Another point in Redoubt. These guys are officially gray to me. I should probably kill plague spreaders. They shouldn't be gray to me, I imagine. Yeah, okay. Which means they'll actually give me experience. Plus, if I go down in the tomb again, I can check and see if the rare is back up. Malathrum. Big 212 crit. I resist that every day of the week. Come on. Easy. All right, 130 with the axes. I think we're consistently connecting now. Wasn't that long to level it up. It was like 7 minutes, maybe something like that. Alright, I don't think Malathrum is up. If he is, he's maybe a little further in. He can probably spawn in different regions too, so... This guy might aggro onto me before I get my food buff. This is pretty greedy to eat right here. It'll be close. Nice, we got it. Look at that, it's just 200 damage anytime it procs. Bam. Plus the damage that they take from hitting themselves with red aura. Let's mess around with the mace and the shield for a little bit and see how that feels. I mean, Seal of Command's still hitting hard as hell, especially if I Hammer of Justice first, then Judgment it, but... I mean, it's not bad. It actually feels pretty good. Plus, of course, I get the, you know, the bonus block chance anytime I get crit. I did say eventually we are going to be switching over to the one-handed and shield, probably in the like late 30s, early 40s kind of era of the character, but I'll still always carry around a good two-handed weapon with me. See, but this is where it's nice. Although we didn't get a single use out of that readout, but bam, 263. Whew. Honestly, the kill speed feels just as good with the one-handed and the shield. Like, I'm not noticing that much of a difference between my my two-handed. Now the DPS is saying otherwise, but it's about half the DPS, and it should be. But I'm also not having to heal as much. I'm trying to cope, I don't know. I know the DPS is saying otherwise, but it doesn't feel that bad. I mean, sure. I'm only hitting 70 instead of 100, like with my axe and stuff like that, but... I feel like I'm also healing myself a lot less. Alright, three more ribs. Should have drank the melon juice. Two more levels and we get a new drink, so I might as well use the sweet nectar. Yeah, I mean, it's still nice to get the procs with the Seal of Command here, too. The damage is a lot less. It's like 40 damage less compared to my two-hander, but again, I'm swinging faster, so I should be proccing it more consistently. Alright, front load the mana here. Now we'll let it regen. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really liking the one-hander. Always use exorcism between swings. I feel like with the one-hander too, I'm also able to keep my mana higher, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just because I'm not consecrating as much. I'm not pulling as many mobs, but it's actually better for me to be pulling more mobs with the one-hander, because then I have a higher chance to block. Readout comes in more frequently. I'm getting value out of readout. Let's try and take on two here. I know I can, I just want to see how it feels. And again, these mobs are like 4 levels under me. 4 to 5 levels under me, so... But look at the range that I can pull that guy, it's just so nice. Ten mana. Ooh. I did not realize that that's leeching my mana. Alright, one more rib. I mean, we just pulled 3 right there, so it's not that bad. I should have judged, but wasn't paying enough attention. And there we go. No rares. Let's talk to Abercrombie. See what he has after this. Ogre Thieves. Actually, don't go over there and pull all the others. Oh, too late. Yeah, I mean, it's obvious, but Consecrate is actually our big mana spender. Anytime I have to Consecrate, it's like I'm going to be hearing that mana sound, probably. Alright. Let the mana regen now while we head back over to Abercrombie. He's probably going to send us to the Ogres again. Which I'm fine with, you know. There's a lot of ore in those Ogre caves, so... We might push this one to an hour and a half, just because it's a rainy Sunday and I don't really have anything else to do other than record other videos. I take a rest day from the gym today. Didn't have to work today. I think I hear a pack of ghouls scurrying around the back of the house. I better put those effigies up, or I better put that effigy up quick. Did you get those ghoul ribs for me?
Ah, thanks. These will do just the trick. A few weeks ago, I was picking herbs far from my house, and a band of ogres attacked me. I ran, and I was forced to leave behind a crate of precious tools and herbs. After they chased me off, the ogres swaggered back to the ogre mound in southern Duskwood. I'm sure my crate is somewhere near the mound. Please, adventurer, retrieve this crate for me, for I miss it sorely.
What do you need the crate for? Yeah. Let's go get that crate real quick. We got our mace up to 147. That's nice. Tin? Copper. It's always copper, man. I might as well get it. Swing speed is pretty damn fast when I do Seal of Crusader with the one-handed. It's like 1.8, 1.9. Looks like 1.7 even, maybe. Yeah, we're definitely learning that you get a lot more value out of Redoubt when you're pulling multiple mobs, because it only lasts 10 seconds. Or 5 blocks, right? So do you really think you're going to get 5 blocks in 10 seconds? Probably not. You might get 1 if you're fighting just one mob. But it does increase your chance to block, right? So that's nice. But if you have like 2, 3, 4, even like, 5+ mobs on you, that's where it really gets its value. You don't necessarily want to be doing that in hardcore just in case things go south, but you can. Paladins are decent AoE farmers. They're no mage, right? Like once we play our mage character, I'm gonna have to learn how to AoE farm. I know it's not that difficult. I've seen mages do it. It's basically just gather a bunch of mobs up, Frost Nova, rank 1 Blizzard, Cone of Cold when they get close, run away, and then Blizzard again kind of thing. And then you just stop, drink. You make your own drinks so you don't have to worry about it. It's a decent bit of downtime though, but you're killing a lot of mobs at once. But I'm not going to AoE farm constantly. Like, I'm not just going to AoE farm and ignore quests like some mages do. I know that's the fastest way to play a mage. But I'm going to AoE farm whenever I can. Like, if I was here, I'd probably pull up maybe all 5 of these mobs, grab them all, try and AoE them, pull them back. Yeah, I see that chest, by the way. Elixir of... Oh, man. That's the worst part about solo self-found, is I can't send this stuff to alts. I would love to send this to my my druid, who I plan on making a alchemist in the future. Because I want to make him like a feral bear-cat hybrid with some elements of resto. I'm still even considering maybe doing like resto balance hybrid instead, and being more of like a caster druid, because I play so many melees. But it would be nice to have this. Unfortunately, I just have to sell it, but I think this also sells for a decent bit on the auction house, but okay, there's this crate. And there's some tin right on the inside. I imagine there's more. Let's go back to the axe for a bit. I wonder what's in this crate. I got a glancing blow with my one attack, and then he dodged my seal of command attack. Oh. Just tickling these guys, because I feel like my hits aren't connecting. And what are connecting, they're like, some of it is being blocked. There we go, big 210 crit there. Where's this 10 on top? Around the side, maybe? This might be another one of those nodes that's kind of like bugged. Tin inside too. I mean, in theory, it should be like right here. Yeah, I think this happened last time we were here. They spawn like inside of this mound. Did we get the crate? No. Alright, more so than anything, I'm just kind of popping my head in here to see if maybe there's some iron or gold. Gold, yes, that's huge. Gold, because the actual act of mining it up is going to give me some skill points, but also smelting it might give me some skill points. And again, at 180, I think is when we can start mining mithril ore. And we're going to find some of that in... We already saw some in Stone Talon, but we're going to find some when we go to Desolace. There might be some in Stranglethorn, I can't remember, but we already had to like give up 2 nodes of it when we were in Stone Talon Mountains, because I wasn't high enough on my mining. I was close, but I think then we were like 15 points away or something like that. Oh, that's Sack. Or Zark Fool. So there's gold here, there's a chest. See, I'm looking to pull you without pulling you or you. And then I can pull those 2, get the chest, get the gold. This is where I wish I could like exorcism any target. I wouldn't even mind pulling these 2, it's just more so I don't want to also get the Enslaver in the back. Nice. We got Zark. It's fine. Go ahead and pop Stone Form. Big hits. Stun him right before his swing goes out. Make sure we use that. Always Judgment right before Hodge goes up. He swings very fast for having a pole arm. I'll tell you that. Quick little Holy Light on ourselves. And he's done. Front load the mana. Parry into a miss, into a miss. This is what I love about playing melee into a third miss. That's 4 attacks that didn't connect. You're fucking kidding me, man. That shit feels horrible, man. And some glancing blows, too, to top it off. Another dodge, why not? More glancing blows, why not? Parry. Another miss. Like, what the fuck is this shit, man? Oh, resist. Brother, just hit him. Why is it so hard for me to hit this guy? A parry and Zark full respawns. Look at that. Because it took me 10 years to fucking kill this guy. And I'm still missing, and I'm still parrying. And he dodges. You can fuck off, dude. What was that? That might have been the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. That was horrible. Please don't fucking dodge and miss as much as this guy did. Holy, that was the worst mob we fought all character. I'm like, this entire character. That was the worst mob right there. Alright, we're actually getting some hits on Zargful again. There we go, bro. Just hit him. Use your weapon and hit him. Why is that so hard, bro? All for some cheese and a stiff recurve bow. I mean, the bow's nice. 10 silver, but... Alright, 176. Please give me 4. That's 2. 3. You know what? I'm okay with 3. Thank you. Let's grab that tin as well. Dodge. Here we go. Let's see it again. Dodge, miss, dodge, parry, parry, dodge, miss, parry. Still getting glancing blows when I'm at 140 weapon skill. 160 is my cap. So worst part about switching weapons in Classic is just the whole like glancing blows and the fact that you miss so much. Yeah. Well, at least there's not another chest or any more ore in here. I can get the fuck out of here after this. And I missed my judgment. How about that? I think it's time to log off after this. These ogres have just pissed me off. Miss. Here we go. Watch this. Miss. There we go. Whew. Whew. Blood pressure and cortisol spiking right now. Alright, little 3-piece. Back to Abercrombie. I think he's got one more quest chain for us after this one. Yeah, that's just a note to the mayor. Saw some ore over here. Again, this tin is bugged. parry. It's copper. Yep. How about that? Trash that we don't need? How about that? Cast the Holy Light right after my auto goes out, so that way, we get some value out of it. I think it's synced up to right about the time it takes me to cast Holy Light. If I do it right after an auto attack, if it doesn't get hit with knockback, it pretty much is like, as soon as it's done casting, I have an auto attack ready again. So that's kind of perfect. I'm a big fan of this axe, though. I was just about to say, didn't we have like 17 gold? What did I spend my money on? And that's right, I literally just said I'm a big fan of this axe. So, but that's why it's so important to check like vendors, like weapon merchants, armor merchants, and stuff like that. Sometimes you'll check them and they have nothing at all, and it's because the spawn on the items hasn't spawned, or someone has bought them when you weren't online and now you're coming online and you're like, oh, well, that guy doesn't sell anything. But if you check multiple times, maybe he's got something that's like on a timed rotation, right? Like this axe. I've talked to that weapon merchant 2 or 3 times before, and all he had was like white items for sale. And this time he just happened to have the Merciless Axe for sale, which is really, really nice. This weapon is just really good, man. Holy. Better than the Executioner's Sword. More damage, slower swing speed, more strength. It's better than our Gargoyle's Bite. Lose a little bit of armor, but I'm not pressed about the armor. I'm at 1100 armor right now, without Devo Aura on. Okay, come on. What does Devo Aura put us at? Puts us at 1500, okay. Keep seeing this mage. I think they're AFK. Aquarist. He's got his Whirlwind Axe at 32. That's pretty impressive.
Hey there. See you around. Hi.
Give him a nod.
Good day to you.
Do you have my crate? If so, then please give it to me quickly.
Thank the neck. Well, thank you, adventurer.
Ooh.
You have more than earned your reward. Aha! Happy nights ahead. Take this note to Ello Ebenlock, the mayor of Darkshire. He and I are old friends, and when he reads it and discovers what you did for me, I'm sure he'll be just as happy as I am.
This guy's evil as shit, man. And this guy's also buying his gear. Let's take a peek. Bought it. Bought it. You buy gear in hardcore. I have no respect for you, sir. We're leaving him here. The signature says otherwise. Enchanted Fiery War Axe. Enchanted. It's pathetic. The gods frown upon you. Not a real warrior. I wasn't supposed to flame him, but I had to, guys. You're not a real warrior. Oh, he's ignoring me, fuck. I guess that's what I deserve, but man, you're a loser, bro. Come on. Alright, let's go talk to the mayor real quick, and then we'll get ready to log off. I think we're pretty much done with Darkshire. I think after this we go back to Ashenvale.
What can I do for you?
Did we read The Birth of the Lich King? Hang on. So this was the one book that we needed to read here. How many pages is it? 10. We might just go ahead and read this real quick. But also, let's read the letter to Elo. The letters on this note seem to flicker and dance across its surface. It is impossible to glean meaning from them.
Well met.
Abercrombie? I don't know a person of that name. You say you have a letter from me from this Abercrombie fellow. Well, let's have it then.
What language is this? It looks ancient. I can't read it. Take the note you gave me to Sira von Indy. He's very learned in languages and ancient arts. If anyone here can translate this message, it's he. For the Alliance.
Alright, the birth of the Lich King. Ner'zhul and his followers entered the Twisting Nether, the ethereal plane that connects all of the worlds scattered throughout the great dark beyond. Unfortunately, Kil'jaeden and his demonic minions were waiting for them. Kil'jaeden, who had sworn to take vengeance on Ner'zhul for his prideful defiance, slowly tore the old shaman's body apart, piece by piece. Kil'jaeden kept the shaman's spirit alive and intact, thus leaving Ner'zhul painfully aware of his body's gross dismemberment. Though Ner'zhul pleaded with the demon to realize his spirit and grant him death, the demon grimly replied that the blood pact they had made long ago was still binding, and that Ner'zhul still had a purpose to serve. The Orcs' failure to conquer the world for the Burning Legion forced Kil'jaeden to create a new army to sow chaos throughout the kingdoms of the Azeroth. Weird. This new army could not be allowed to fall prey to the same petty rivalries and infighting that had plagued the Horde. It would have to be merciless and single-minded in its mission. This time, Kil'jaeden could not afford to fail. Holding Ner'zhul's spirit helpless in stasis, Kil'jaeden gave him one last chance to serve the Legion or suffer eternal torment. Once again, Ner'zhul recklessly agreed to the demon's pact. Ner'zhul's spirit was placed within a specially crafted block of diamond-hard ice, gathered from the far reaches of the Twisting Nether, which is why Ner'zhul is in that chunk of ice and then kind of like possesses Arthas, right? That's very cool. Encased within the frozen cask, Ner'zhul felt his consciousness expand 10,000-fold. Warped by the demon's chaotic powers, Ner'zhul became a spectral being of unfathomable power. At that moment, the orc known as Ner'zhul was shattered forever, and the Lich King was born. Ner'zhul's loyal Death Knights and Shadow Moon followers were also transformed by the demon's chaotic energies. The wicked spellcasters were ripped apart and remade as skeletal liches. The demons had ensured that, even in death, Ner'zhul's followers would serve him unquestionably. When the time was right, Kil'jaeden explained the mission for which he had created the Lich King. Ner'zhul was to spread a plague of death and terror across Azeroth that would snuff out the human civilization forever. All those who had died from the dread plague would arise as the undead, and their spirits would be bound to Ner'zhul's iron will forever. Kil'jaeden promised that if Ner'zhul accomplished his dark mission of scouring humanity from the world, he would be freed from his curse and granted a new, healthy body to inhabit. Though Ner'zhul was agreeable and seemingly anxious to play his part, Kil'jaeden remained skeptical of his pawn's loyalties, keeping the Lich King bodiless and trapped within the crystal cast assured his good conduct for the short term, but the demon knew that he would need to keep a watchful eye on him. To this end, Kil'jaeden called upon his elite demon guard, the vampiric Dreadlords, to police Ner'zhul and ensure that he accomplished his dread task. Tichondrius, the most powerful and cunning of the Dreadlords, warmed to the challenge. He was fascinated by the plague's severity and the Lich King's unbridled potential for genocide. Let's add this to the book. Log 2. I believe it's just, yeah. The birth of the Lich King. And just remember, guys, don't be a dweeb. Don't buy your gear in hardcore. A note from Abercrombie the Hermit, huh? I don't know him, though. If he lives out at the graveyard, then I do know his brains have rotted out. Sierra begins translating the note.
I'm almost finished translating that note. If you come back in a few moments, I should be done. For the Alliance.
Hang on, there he is. Just gotta shake my ass at him and spit at him. What a loser, bro. Fiery weapon at level 30. Sorry. Whirlwind axe enchanted with fiery weapon. You've got multiple BOE blues on, and you say that you worked for this gear? You're embarrassing, bro. You're not a real warrior. You're a fraud. Alright, Sierra, sorry. There we are. It's translated. The air grows heavy, as if thick black curtains are drawn over the land.
Oh my. If what is written on this note is true, then Abercrombie's done something unspeakable. You better bring the translated note back to Ello, and do so quickly, for I fear a doom already lumbers toward our town.
Is this the story of Stitches?
Well met.
I can read the translated note. Greetings, Ello Ebenlock, Mayor of Darkshire. I'm afraid I have news for your town. Grave news, you see. I am a creator. I fooled the bearer of this note into aiding me in my latest, most dire creation, a fiend of flesh and bone and twisted metal. As you read this, it's likely outside my humble dwelling, gnashing its teeth and waiting my word to go forth and slaughter. But you'll know soon enough. The Embalmer. I think this is the story. Wait. What's going on? Make way. Mayor Ello, our graveyard scouts returned with this ominous reports. Wolves head this way, as if fleeing from something. This is grim news, and I fear it's linked to the dealings Bale had with the Embalmer. Watcher, inform Althea that a dire threat is marshalling against our town. We must prepare. Yes, my lord.
Need help?
Is the note translated? Please let me see it.
For the Alliance.
Ello reads the letter, and his face goes white. He then looks at you. Although the aid you gave Abercrombie may have been motivated from kindness, your actions have doomed our town.
The Embalmer is a name told in one of our children's stories. He was a kindly alchemist, driven mad by the death of his wife Eliza. To restore her, he used dark magic to place his own heart within the bosom of his dead spouse. This revived Eliza, but it cursed her with a hunger for human flesh, forcing the Embalmer to keep her buried. His heart is his power. Find his wife's grave, retrieve his heart, and bring it to me while it still beats. Do this, and his power will be broken.
Find Eliza's grave, retrieve the Embalmer's heart from her, then return to Ello Ebenlock. So this must be what that punk-ass warrior was talking about with the heart. We do get a pretty cool shield out of it. I mean, it is actually better. Lose 1 strength, gain 1 stamina. It looks like the Aligned shield. It looks a lot cooler than the Nefarious Buckler, so... And it's probably the best memento that we'll get from Darkshire to remember this place by, so... It's all the way back out at her grave. We don't have the time to do it now. If I play again later tonight, we'll take care of that, though, so... Let me give this hunter a buff. And, yeah, let's empty out our bags. Mabel. And we're going to get ready to call this one here for now. We'll sleep in the small bed. Alright guys, I might play another one later tonight. If not, I'll see you tomorrow when we play some more. But for now, we're going to call this one here. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love. And remember, don't buy your gear in hardcore. Alright guys, God bless.